minutes past the hour. I'm your host, Olga Peters, and a huge welcome to Chris Mays from The Reformer. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks.
And also a welcome to BCTV. Brattleboro Community Television is filming this segment. It will be up online later today on their website, brattleboro.tv. And broadcast of Green Mountain Mornings tonight is sponsored by Brattleboro Savings and Loan. So, Chris, let's start with a article that you're working on right now. Sounds very exciting. It's about a solar project maybe slated for the transportation center.
Yes, the parking garage in Brattleboro was the subject of last night's Energy Committee meeting, and Ralph Mima from Green Lantern Group. It's a Vermont based solar company, and he's a Brattleboro resident. He's a town meeting member, and he's on the town finance committee. And I guess he said the assistant town manager, Patrick Moreland, had approached him about, hey, maybe that the roof of the transportation center could be used for solar. And so Ralph was just kicking up some ideas. It didn't really sound like his group would be interested in it unless the town said they were interested in having them run the project, but he kind of ran through a couple ideas. And one of the main ideas was generating enough power for electric vehicle charging stations. And then if the town ever decided to go to electric vehicles for their fleet, then they'd be able to run all the power by solar. They could always convert it if they went with a community solar project in the beginning and had people buy net metering credits for their homes or businesses. And then, if they did that, it would probably not end up being electric vehicle. But if it was all municipal stuff, then they could probably convert it later.
What's the next step for this? Since the Energy Committee is a town committee, but it doesn't necessarily have the authority of, say, a select board to approve a project.
Well, that's kind of why I went to the meeting. It's interesting that Brattleboro has this committee, because then they can kind of talk about projects like this and then give a recommendation to the town, or, just I don't know, just they have a lot of insight into those matters, and it's interesting to hear them talk about things like this. I've been to a few meetings, but the chairman, Michael Bosworth, he was going to talk with Peter Elwell, the town manager, last night when they were locking up the building, and then see, maybe what the interest is.
Well, I look forward to hearing more, and this is expected to be in the paper this week?
Yeah, it should be maybe tomorrow or the next day. Yeah.
So check the Reformer for Chris's full article on the proposed solar project for the transportation center. What about tonight? There's a select board meeting, and the main agenda item is the police fire project, kind of the last check-in of this many-year project. Tell us about that, Chris.
Yeah, they're going to talk about this $300,000 they have left over from bonds they took out for the projects. And there's a few projects that would need town meeting approval to move forward. A new roof on the police station, and then some electronics at the fire department. So I think they're going to kind of discuss how to schedule this. They're going to also consult with the police fire facilities project committee. And I think that's it. And they're going to see what they have to say about it. And then there's probably going to be a special representative town meeting in the spring or fall.
So if they do decide to go forward with any of this, it's too late to put it on representative town meeting that's planned in March?
Yeah, because they still want it to go through the committee, and
I see.
they just approved their warning last week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so interesting about town meetings is they really are regimented in the sense of when the warnings have to be made and when those have to be approved and when they have to have public insight, public exposure, and all those things, that it's not something like an agenda you can build in a week.
Right. Yeah. And I think when the bonds were approved, it was at a special representative town meeting a month before annual representative town meeting.
That's right.
Yeah, so it can be just a month later or before. Yeah,
Now, new roof for the police station. That's the new police station?
yeah.
I'm surprised it needs a roof so quickly. Didn't they do some roof repairs when they took the building over?
I think they might have done some, but there's a bigger project like to the tune of $90,000 that they're interested in doing.
So, Chris, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you actually work in this building because the town leases some space to the reformer. Is this one? Is it just a completely flat roof? Is it one of those really bad New England roofs?
Yeah, it is. And when we were in one section of the building, there was a little bit of leaking, so it wasn't major, but
Did you have to get the buckets out?
yes.
That's leaking. When you actually have to collect the water in a bucket, yeah, that's a little more than a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, what else is significant about looking at this under budget? That you said $300,000.
Yeah.
Is that was it just that they were able to save money along the way, or were there other parts of the project that weren't finished and now they can finish them because they have the shortfall, or I mean
Yeah, I think
the
they
extra?
were. I think they were being prudent in terms of seeing what projects could wait until they tallied up the numbers, and they're doing some kind of. They're also going to have to bring something else before town meeting members, which will approve funding for electronics in the dispatch center for the police station, and
Mm-hmm.
just the way that the bond was worded, the approval was worded. They're going to have to get approval to buy that equipment, and they're going to take money out of the capital fund, I believe, and then get it approved by town meeting to come from the bond. So there's going to be that vote too.
Okay. Uh, for those who are just joining us, I had Chief Mike Bukasi in the studio in the 7 o'clock hour, and he was talking about the central station because there's a ribbon cutting on Friday for this last bit of the police fire project. Friday at 3 o'clock, so come by and applaud the new building. But that's one thing he was talking about is while the project is done, there's still all those last minute kind of punch list things like they're still working out the heating system and the electrics and all those things because it's a new building.
Yeah.
Um, anything else on the select board meeting agenda of significance tonight?
Um. No. No.
Pretty much the police fire project.
Yeah, and I think they might schedule the informational meetings for annual representative town meeting.
Hmm. Which, if you have been thinking of caucusing for a spot as a representative town meeting member, you want to be at those info meetings because that's where they try to fill the remaining open seats, which I think they still have some
Yeah, I
for
think so.
representative town meeting. So stay tuned as soon as Chris and or I get those dates. We, of course, will be broadcasting. Chris and I will return after the break. Welcome back. We are with Green Mountain Mornings on WKVT 100.3 FM, AM 1490, Brattleboro's news talk station. 39 past the hour. I'm your host, Olga Peters. Welcome, Chris Mays.
Thanks.
And we were talking before the break about a new solar project, maybe kind of they're eyeing up at the transportation center in Brattleboro. We talked about the police fire project and how there's $300,000 left in the budget, and the select board's going to talk about other parts of the project that they may be able to put that money towards. And now let's talk about Flat Street and the Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust project that they're kind of eyeing up for Flat Street.
Yeah, later this month they will the housing trust will go before the development review board. They're looking to create a 5-story building, new construction, that will mostly be affordable housing for people. And I think one of the units will be rented out to a tenant who will use it for retail or commercial
Hmm.
reasons, and then there will also be an office for people to get kind of the social service support they might need.
Oh, fantastic. Because that's
Yeah,
one thing downtown doesn't really have.
yeah. And so I think it's kind of looked at as like a companion piece to the project up at the Lamplighter, which is permanent housing or supportive house. It's permanent housing kind of for the homeless
Hmm.
or vulnerable populations. And so this is looked at as a as as kind of a companion project, I guess.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but the project up by Exit 3 that
Hmm.
is under construction now, that is housing that's specifically designed mostly to bring people from homelessness into stable housing.
That's right. Most of the units are for those people.
So is the Flat Street project looked at as once someone has kind of reached a point of stability, then they can move to this project? Are
It
they that connected?
it might be because part of the goal is to have people close to the services they need with that office and then
Hmm.
groundworks and the other meals and whatnot and whatever else you find in downtown Brattleboro. So yeah. Uh,
I'm excited about the thought of having an office there because while we have the state offices downtown, we don't, and Groundworks, their drop in center is within walking distance of downtown. We don't necessarily have a, a definite point place for folks who might be looking for housing services
right.
from local organizations.
Yeah.
And is it that office, is it going to be solely part of Wyndham Windsor Housing? Will they be sharing with other service
It
organizations?
kind of sounded like it would be other organizations. Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. And so the DRB hearing sounds like it's still pretty early in the process.
Yeah. I think today, this afternoon, they're going before the design review committee,
Hmm.
which will, work with them to look at their design and make sure it fits in with the downtown and in their district.
Gotcha. Well, there will be, if this is starting to move through the process, there'll be lots of public meetings
Hmm.
and lots of more opportunities to talk about this. What about, you did a piece on some interns who are getting teaching experience in the local area?
Yeah, it's not a new thing for Academy School to have interns, but the design of this program is different. Um, Instead of focusing on a few months, these interns are working year through the whole school year,
Oh, interesting.
and they're being paid for half the school day as paraeducators, and so they're connecting with the students. Sometimes when interns only work a few months with the students, the kids are like, "Oh, where did they go?" Because they're looked at as teachers to the younger kids,
Mm, mm-hmm. Good point.
and developing little projects, and a lot of it is hands-on stuff, things that maybe the teachers weren't thinking about. I know one of the interns was doing some outdoor program because that's what she's worked on, and they're all from Antioch University, and so that Antioch has a teacher who's also a teacher at Academy School. So
Oh,
sh
no kidding.
yeah, so she's running this program, and everybody has good things to say about it. The principal and the interns and the teachers who are working with the interns.
Approximately how many people are interning at Academy now?
Three from
Okay.
Antioch. Yeah.
And is this something that Antioch, a program that Antioch has run for a while and it's just new to Academy School, or is it a new program altogether?
I'm not too sure. I know it's new to Academy School, and I think it's kind of new to Antioch, but they've been working together for many years.
Did you have a chance to talk to any of the interns to hear how their experience is?
Yeah, yeah. I talked to two of them, and they seemed to really like it. One was interested in living in Vermont, and she had graduated, and she knew the teacher from Antioch, and so they connected, and she moved up here, and she loves it. The other intern, where is she from? I think she her family lives in Virginia, so she's gonna move back there once she's done. But she's really enjoyed the experience too.
And how about the kids or teachers? Did you have a chance to talk to any of them?
I didn't get to talk to any kids, but the teacher said the kids are really loving it. Like I said before, it's looked they're looked at as just another teacher, so it's another person to look look after them and teach them and help them. And I talked with a special education teacher who said any additional support we can have for kids that who she works with, is great. It only helps the situation.
And what grades are these teachers working with?
Right now it's kindergarten and fifth grade, and a few of the special education students.
Sounds successful. Do you think Academy is going to do it again next year, or?
That's the plan, and the principal says he would like to expand it if possible. They'll see if they can, and yeah.
Well, speaking of expanding, I had a guest on last week, Leah Goodman, and she works for Brattleboro Savings and Loan, and she mentioned this, but you covered the event as well. Brattleboro Savings and Loan has just opened a new branch in Wilmington.
That's right. Yeah. For now, they're operating in on North Main Street in the old Beyond Imagination space.
Okay.
So they did some minor renovations in there, and they're working on floor plans. They're going to demolish a former dental practice across from Shaw's, and they're going to build a bank there, which will be their permanent location in Wilmington. The president and CEO, Dan Yates, he said that they've been looking at kind of going out into another area, another community, and the Deerfield Valley was the right fit. And Wilmington, he said something about 16% of the households in Wilmington already banked with them.
Oh, no kidding.
And now he said they already have new customers, and they're really excited about the move.
Well, in full disclosure, for those who don't know, I grew up in the Deerfield Valley, and so I still have family there. And they were so excited because they they banked with other banks for years in Wilmington, but now those banks are no longer Vermont owned.
That's right.
And so it's important to them to have a locally owned bank. And so they're in the process of checking out Brattleboro Savings and Loan.
Yeah.
Um, what's their timeline on this new building?
I think I think they wanted to start demolition, or the zoning administrator was expecting them to demo the building in the spring. So we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see what they put up because if I'm thinking of the correct building, it is more of a house that was converted into a dentist practice for years.
Yeah.
I think most of my friends went there actually when they were kids. Um, and so to make it into something that can serve a bank, they really are just going to have to knock it down to the basement, aren't they?
Yeah. They're not sure exactly how it will look yet. They're still working on their plans.
Wish them the best of luck. Anything else, Chris, that you're covering that people might want to keep an eye on or
Well, I'm gonna interview the candidates for select board. I hope this week,
mm-hmm.
and going to the select board meeting tonight. I've been working on this project for an insert that will go in all of our New England um, newspapers, and it's
Fantastic.
called Making the Grade. And I talked with different schools about their nutritional programs and how they've kind of evolved over the years, and how more schools are thinking about that sort of thing.
And when will that be out?
Um, I'm not sure. I think it will be next month, or at the end of this month.
I look forward to talking about that when it comes out because that sounds like a deep program. And Vermont has done so much around local food and farms to school and things like that, that I look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, Academy School is really proud of what they've been able to do, offering students free lunch, breakfast, and afternoon snacks, and they've also really had an eye to making it healthy and nutritious.
Chris Mays, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.